Hello, my friends. Good morning. Good morning. Move some of this stuff out of the background. How are you this morning? Today I'm going to be reading Exodus chapter 7 from the Complete Jewish Bible. So here we go. You will notice from this, what do I want to say? Some of the words in this chapter are going to be in Hebrew, and I will translate them into English as I read. So here we go. Exodus chapter 7. But Adonai said to Moshe, Adonai is Lord, and it's Lord with a capital L and a lowercase O-R-D. Moshe is Moses. But Adonai said to Moshe, I have put you in the place of God to Pharaoh, and Aharon, Aaron, your brother, will be your prophet. You are to say everything I order you, and Aharon, Aaron, your brother, is to speak to Pharaoh and to tell him to let the people of Israel leave his land. But I will make him hard-hearted, even though I will increase my signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. Pharaoh will not listen to you. Then I will lay my hand on Egypt and bring my armies, my people, the sons of Israel, out of the land of Egypt with great acts of judgment. Then, when I stretch out my hand over Egypt and bring the people of Israel out from among them, the Egyptians will know that I am Adonai. Moshe and Aharon did exactly what Adonai ordered them to do. Moshe was 80 years old and Aharon 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. Adonai, the Lord, said to Moshe, Moses, and Aharon, Aaron, when Pharaoh says to you, perform a miracle, tell Aharon to take his staff and throw it down in front of Pharaoh so that it can become a snake. Moshe and Aharon went into Pharaoh and did this, as Adonai had ordered. Aharon threw down his staff in front of Pharaoh and his servants, and it turned into a snake. But Pharaoh, in turn, called for the sages and sorcerers, and they too, the magicians of Egypt, did the same thing, making their use of their secret arts. Each one threw his staff down, and they turned into snakes. But Aharon's staff swallowed up theirs. Nevertheless, Pharaoh was made hard-hearted, and he didn't listen to them as Adonai had said would happen. Adonai said to Moshe, Pharaoh is stubborn. He refuses to let the people go. So go to Pharaoh in the morning when he goes out to the water. Stand on the riverbank to confront him. Take in your hand the staff, which was turned into a snake, and say to him, Adonai, the God of the Hebrews, sent me to say, let my people go so that they can worship me in the desert. But until now, you haven't listened. So Adonai says, this will let you know that I am Adonai. I will take the staff in my hand and strike the water in the river, and it will be turned into blood. The fish in the river will die, the river will stink, and the Egyptians won't want to drink water from the river. Adonai said to Moshe, say to Aharon, take your staff, reach out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, canals, ponds, and all their reservoirs, so that they can turn into blood. There will be blood throughout the whole land of Egypt, even in the wooden buckets and stone jars. Moshe and Aharon did exactly what Adonai had ordered. He raised the staff, and in the sight of Pharaoh and his servants struck the water in the river, and all the water in the river was turned into blood. The fish in the river died, and the river stank so badly that the Egyptians couldn't drink its water. There was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. But the magicians of Egypt did the same with their secret arts, so that Pharaoh was made hard hearted and didn't listen to them, as Adonai had said would happen. Pharaoh just turned and went back to his palace without taking any of this to heart. All the Egyptians dug around the river for water to drink because they couldn't drink the river water. 7 days after Adonai had struck the river, Adonai said to Moshe, go into Pharaoh and say to him, here is what Adonai says, let my people go so that they can worship me. If you refuse to let them go, I will strike your territory with frogs. The river will swarm with frogs. They will go up into your palace and go into your bedroom, onto your bed. They will enter the houses of your servants and your people and go into your ovens and kneading bowls. The frogs will climb all over you, your people, and your servants. And that is the end of chapter 7 of Exodus. Good morning, Elizabeth, my sweet niece. So, today in Exodus, the river turned to blood, and the Lord, Adonai, promised frogs because Pharaoh hardened his heart. Wonder what it means to harden your heart. And can we do that even today? For me, I think you can. Many times we hear in our heart something that we should be doing or that the Lord wants us to do. And at first, it's just kind of like a thought. Maybe I should make something nice for my neighbor, like cookies for my neighbor. And we kind of ignore it. And then the thought comes again, and we ignore it again. Is that hardening our heart? I think so. Especially like maybe you should spend this few minutes that you have waiting at the doctor's office praying, but instead you pick up your phone and you're reading Facebook. Or someone's name comes to your mind. Maybe you should pray for that person, but then you go, oh, I hadn't thought about them in a long time, and you just keep on. Is that hardening our heart? Sometimes I think so. Because the voice of God is not loud. He doesn't yell at us. That is the voice of the enemy. When you hear that nagging voice, do this, 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 that's not the Lord. The Lord makes a suggestion. He's very quiet. The Holy Spirit is still. And that's why in Psalm 46:10, it says for us to be still and know that He is God and that He will be exalted in the earth. Just some thoughts for today. Morning manna. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up His countenance upon you and grant you His shalom. Elizabeth, we'll talk about that. Shalom, shalom, everyone.